Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let's aim for 10,000 likes on this video. It might seem hard, but I trust you can make it happen. Now, let's begin. The series begins with a wealthy businessman named Xian. He is at a press conference, proudly speaking about the latest achievements of his hotels and companies. Suddenly, a journalist interrupts him and asks about rumors that he secretly got married and has a hidden son. Xian demands that she show respect while talking to him and insists that he is not married in secret. He admits that he does indeed have a son, but he has never hidden him from anyone. Then we are introduced to a child psychologist named Chen, who is dedicated and highly skilled in treating children. Back at Xian's hotel, we see his young son Xiaobao wreaking havoc in his father's office. Nobody can control him. It is revealed that Xiaobao suffers from a psychological disorder that prevents him from speaking. To help him express himself, Xian had cards printed with phrases he can use. When Xian enters the office and sees the mess, he orders his son to get off the desk immediately. Xiaobao holds up a card saying he wants to spend the day with his father. Xian scolds him, explaining he is busy with work and doesn't have time for his childish whims. Upset, Xiaobao throws the card on the ground. Xian tells his assistant to call his son's psychiatrist, but the assistant shocks him by saying the doctor has resigned because Xiaobao nearly drove him to a breakdown. Furious, Xian orders him to find another psychiatrist immediately, as he can no longer handle his son's troublesome behavior. Just then, his secretary reminds him that he has a staff meeting and must go live before the upcoming award ceremony. Xian has no choice but to take his son with him to the meeting. Meanwhile, Chen is sitting with her friend, who surprises her by saying that their colleague Z is about to win the award for Best Scientific Research. Chen loses her temper because she wrote 90% of that research, and he shamelessly stole her work. Angry and humiliated, she decides to confront him at the hotel. Back with Jian, he starts his live stream, unaware that his son has slipped away. He quickly sends his assistants to search for him. Xiaobao wanders into the hotel and notices a large banner of his father. He drags it along with him, attracting the attention of the employees, who gather around trying to take it back. Overwhelmed, Xiaobao screams at them and runs off, nearly bumping into someone. By chance, Chen is there. She grabs him before he collides, asking if he's all right. He screams again, so she immediately hugs him, calming him down. Once he settles, she asks if he needs help. Xiaobao shows her his cards and she learns his name. She asks why he caused such chaos in the hotel, and he shows her a card that says Dad. She asks if he's upset with his father, and he nods. She gives him a toy and a silk handkerchief, telling him to keep them safe. Just then, Jian's assistant arrives to collect Xiaobao. Before leaving, Chen tells him to remind his boss to pay more attention to his son. Later, Chen continues her search for Z. By coincidence, she spots Jian from behind and mistakes him for Z. Furious, she attacks him, accusing him of stealing her research. When he turns around, she is stunned to see his face. Embarrassed, she apologizes and quickly leaves. The problem, however, is that there was a phone in the room broadcasting live, and it captured the whole incident. From the camera angle, it looked as if they were romantically involved. Shortly after, Chen bumps into Z, looks at him with disgust, and walks away. At the award ceremony, Xian is chosen to present the prize for Best Scientific Research. Remembering Chen's words, he announces that no one will receive the award and storms out. That night, back at home, Xian looks at the resume of his son's new psychiatrist, only to discover it belongs to Chen. He angrily throws it in the trash. Later, he yells at Xiaobao for staying up too late, confiscates his tablet, and forces him to sleep. That night, Jian is tormented by nightmares from a past incident. The next morning, after making his coffee and sitting in his home office, a friend visits and shows him the viral video of him and Chen. Xian is shocked. His friend tells him Chen is just a crazy woman, assuring him there's nothing between them. At the same time, Chen discovers that the leaked video has been twisted to look like she and Xian are romantically involved. Later, Xian tries to wake Xiaobao, who refuses to get up. He notices a strange silk handkerchief next to him and absent-mindedly tosses it into the laundry. When Xiaobao wakes and realizes it's missing, he has a breakdown, crying and screaming. Xian tries to comfort him, eventually giving him the washed handkerchief. But when Xiaobao smells it, the scent is gone, and he screams louder before running to his room. Xian takes him to a psychiatric hospital for a session with a new doctor. By coincidence, Chen works there. She hears screaming from a nearby room and rushes in to find Xiaobao. Both are delighted to see each other again. She notices he doesn't want to play with the toys, so she suggests taking him somewhere better. At first, Xiaobao hesitates to take her hand, something he never does with strangers, but eventually he does, surprising everyone. She leads him to the children's play area, where they meet a little girl named Jojo. She tries to play with Xiaobao, but he refuses and turns away. When Chen arrives, Jojo hugs her warmly, and it's clear all the children adore her. Chen suggests playing hide-and-seek. She sits with Xiaobao, gives him water and a lollipop, and tells him she bought one for herself too, so that whenever they're apart he'll remember her. At that moment, Xian arrives and is stunned to see his son with Chen. He quickly pulls Xiaobao away and warns Chen never to go near his son again, fearing she might attack him as she did before. He takes his son home, but Xiaobao is miserable, insisting he wants Dr. Chen to treat him. Left with no choice, Xian agrees. He then orders his assistant to gather information about Chen. He learns that she came from a modest family and graduated from medical school with distinction. Curious, Xian decides to visit her at her office. Xian goes to Chen and begs her to treat his son. He tells her he will pay any amount she asks, but Chen refuses and firmly asks him to leave her office. Frustrated, Xian shares the incident with his friend, who tells him they need a strategy to convince her. The friend suggests sending her plenty of gifts to her office. Xian does exactly that, but Chen remains unmoved, still refusing to help his son because of the way he insulted her before. With gifts failing, Xian turns to plan B. He starts following her around in his car. Shocked by his behavior, Chen tries to lose him by riding her motorcycle into a side street. There, she finds a group of harassers bothering a young woman. Without hesitation, Chen fights them off. Suddenly, Xian jumps into the fight, beating up the harassers until they flee. Chen notices he has been injured during the scuffle. She pulls out her first aid kit and tends to his wound. Xian seizes the moment to tell her again how desperately he needs her help. His son is going through a severe psychological crisis. Chen softens a little and tells him she will think about it. The next day, Xian surprises Chen with a beautifully made cake. He takes his son to the hospital, and when Chen sees the cake, she is touched. This time she agrees to continue Xiaobao's treatment. She begins by talking to him about his upcoming birthday, but as soon as Xiaobao hears the word, he collapses in distress. His father hugs him to calm him down. Concerned, Chen pulls Xian aside and asks what happened. Xian explains that 5 years ago, Xiaobao had an accident on his birthday, and ever since then, he lost his ability to speak and came to hate the day. That night, Xian drives Chen home and slips a bracelet onto her wrist. Curious, she asks what it is. He explains it's a couple's bracelet. If one person feels unwell or in danger, the other receives an alert. It also has a tracking device. She asks who has the other bracelet, and he tells her nobody. In reality, he himself is wearing the second one. The next day, Chen is exhausted. She takes a hot bath, but her fever worsens, and she falls asleep in the tub. The bracelet immediately alerts Xian that something is wrong. He rushes to her house, breaks into the bathroom, and finds her naked, dazed, and confused. Embarrassed, he quickly averts his eyes, realizing the hot water caused her condition. He apologizes and shuts the door. Weak, Chen tries to call for him to open it again, but she can't. She forces herself to break the door handle and stumbles out, only to faint into his arms. Xian lays her gently in bed, checks her temperature, and finds it dangerously high. He mutters that even his little son knows how to take better care of himself. As he pulls the blanket over her, Chen suddenly clings to him and tries to kiss him. Startled, Xian pulls away, realizing she is hallucinating from her fever. The next morning, Chen wakes to find Xiaobao sleeping beside her. Xian enters and tells her he and his son stayed up all night by her side. She goes to the living room and is shocked to see breakfast ready and the entire house spotless. Surprised, she asks him what he's done. He replies simply that he cannot stay in a messy place. They eat together, and she nervously asks what happened last night since she doesn't remember. Xian avoids answering to spare her embarrassment. But Chen suddenly recalls being naked in the bathroom and even trying to kiss him. Mortified, she tries to change the subject and asks who changed her clothes. Calmly, Xian says he did. She then asks what he saw, and he mischievously replies that she's about 162 centimeters tall, has fat around her belly and legs, and weighs 3 kilos more than what she wrote on her resume. Furious, Chen warns him never to mention her weight again or she'll kill him. At that moment, Xiaobao wakes and greets her. She apologizes for not getting him a birthday present and tells him to ask for any gift he wants. Xiaobao writes on his board that he wants her to be his mother. Chen is deeply moved, but tells him that if he says the word mama, she will become his mother. Xiaobao refuses to speak. Xian interjects, saying it's pointless. His son will never talk again. Later, Chen asks Jian to drop her off on his way, but he refuses, insisting she's still sick and needs rest. She assures him she's fine. The following day, Chen and Jian prepare to take Xiaobao out. Xiaobao remembers telling his father's friend Bingo that he wants Chen to be his mom. Bingo liked the idea and told him the first step was to get Chen and Xian closer together. During their outing, Bingo advises Xiaobao to give them private time so their bond can grow. During the trip, Xiaobao deliberately leaves them alone in the haunted house attraction. The plan backfires. Chen screams the entire time, terrified. Later, while driving to the park, Xiaobao secretly texts Bingo that the plan failed. Suddenly, the boy disappears, leaving Jian and Chen panicked. They search everywhere until Bingo sends a reassuring photo that Xiaobao is safe with him. Just then, Chen spots Xiaobao's hat floating in the lake. Believing he drowned, she dives in to rescue him. Jian pulls her out and calms her, assuring her that Xiaobao is fine. When they return, they find their car gone but camping gear left behind. Chen realizes Bingo set them up. That night, Chen and Xian camp together with only a single bowl of noodles to share. Forced to eat together, Xian feels his heartbeat race as he gazes into her eyes. Flustered, he avoids looking at her. He scolds her for recklessly jumping into the lake, warning she could have caught another fever. Chen explains she's a child psychologist, responsible for the lives of children, and she feels guilty because Xiaobao trusts her so much. She adds that children speak the truth, so when Xiaobao said he wanted her as his mother, it came from his heart. She cannot betray that. Chen then admits her job is misunderstood. People think child psychiatrists just play with kids, but in reality, it's far more difficult. Xian asks if she really wants to be Xiaobao's mother. She laughs it off, saying she was joking. After all, Xiaobao's real mother must be alive. Xian is unsettled by the mention of his wife and cuts the conversation short, leading them both back into the tent. The next day, Chen goes to work and unexpectedly runs into Z, her ex. She tries to avoid him, but he stops her to ask how she's been, reminding her they haven't spoken in years. She replies that she'll be fine as long as he stays away from her. At that moment, Z's fiancé arrives. She arrogantly tells Chen that her father, the hospital director, is promoting Z to chief physician. She insists Chen attend the party that evening. Later, Chen buys a beautiful dress for the event. At the party, everyone is stunned by her elegance. Z is officially promoted and gives a speech. His fiancée then grabs the microphone and humiliates Chen by revealing the leaked video of her with Xian. Just then, Xian arrives with his son. He takes the microphone, declaring to everyone that the video means nothing because he doesn't want Chen as his lover. He wants her as his wife. To everyone's shock, he pulls out a marriage seal and slips it onto Chen's hand. Back home afterward, Chen remembers asking him why he proposed in public. With a sly smile, he told her it was simply to make Z and his fiancée jealous. Chen admired the bold move and thanked him. Later, while showering, she accidentally drops the seal in the bathroom. She and her friend Rana frantically search everywhere for it, but they cannot find it. The problem is that the marriage seal is extremely expensive. There's no way she can afford to replace it. The next morning, Rana wakes Chen and tells her that all of social media is talking about her and Xian. Chen panics. She hadn't expected the situation to explode like this. When she arrives at the hospital, she's stunned to see Xian has written her name across the hospital facade in huge letters. She pulls him aside, scolds him, and explains that what he's doing is wrong because the proposal was fake from the start. Xian shocks her by saying he truly wants to marry her. Chen is taken aback and tells him that even if he were the last man on earth, she wouldn't marry him. That night, Rana and Bingo sit in the same bar, neither realizing who the other is. Rana notices he keeps flirting with women and no one is interested, so she goes over to stand with him. Bingo tries to get close, but she shuts him down, saying it's very hard for her to date anyone. He offers to buy her a drink and warns that one glass of this particular drink will make her totally drunk. Instead, Bingo is the one who gets drunk, and Rana ends up taking him home. The next day, Chen is walking alone when she spots a cat up in a tree. She climbs up to rescue it, slips, and nearly falls until a young man appears behind her and catches her. It's her friend, the neurologist Ning. He notices her bracelet has fallen and hands it back. The moment her bracelet disconnects, Xian's matching bracelet sends him an alert. He uses the tracker and rushes to her location, only to find her standing with Ning. Xian pulls Chen to his side and tells Ning that she is his fiancée and they'll be married soon. The following day at the hospital, Chen sees that her name has been removed from the facade. She also finds Xian defending her, scolding nurses who are gossiping and slandering her reputation. Chen is moved and starts to feel he might actually be a good person. When she returns home, she's surprised to find her parents visiting. They scold her for getting engaged without telling them. Chen explains it was all just a show to get back at her ex and insists she's not getting married. Her parents are disappointed. They wanted her to marry a wealthy businessman and announce they'll stay a few days because they miss her. The next day, Xian goes to the hospital to see Chen and, by chance, spots Ning entering. Enraged, he follows him in and asks what he's doing there. Ning explains he brought Chen's cat, the one she found in the tree, to give it back to her. When Chen arrives, she's surprised to see Xian, but pointedly ignores him, inviting Ning to have dinner with her instead. Ning politely invites Xian to join them, but Chen cuts in, saying Xian doesn't like local places. That night, Ning and Chen dine together while Xian hides at the next table so they won't notice him. Ning asks about the rumors linking her to Xian. Chen says the gossip has been cleared up and admits Xian turned out to be a better person than she expected. The restaurant manager announces a surprise to mark the restaurant's anniversary. Music will play, and any man and woman who manage to hug each other before the music stops will get 50% off their bill. Ning stands to hug Chen. Xian leaps up to stop him. The two men accidentally bump into each other, and the manager assumes they completed the challenge, declaring them the winners. Chen, astonished to see Xian there, asks why he came. He simply says he was there to have dinner. The next day, Xian vents his jealousy and frustration during a workout, replaying how kindly Ning treated Chen. He realizes he's falling for her, and it bothers him. After training, Xian takes his son to a cafe and asks him to wait while he attends a meeting. Coincidentally, Chen's mother is sitting in the same cafe, watching from a distance. As soon as Xian leaves, she sits with Xiaobao and asks his name. He shows a card explaining he cannot speak. She asks about his mother, and he shows her a photo of Chen. When Chen gets home, she finds her parents upset. Her mother says she met Xiaobao, and he told her Chen is his mother. She admits she knows the boy is attached to Chen and sees her as a mother, but she's afraid of her daughter marrying a man who already has a child. That's a huge responsibility. She insists on meeting Xian herself to decide whether he's suitable. That night, Xian returns home, and Xiaobao asks when Chen will come live with them. Xian says their plan will have to be delayed 2 weeks. The next day, Chen's mother notices her texting someone and immediately guesses it's Xian. She waits until Chen goes to the bathroom, grabs the phone, and sends Xian a message saying she's Chen's mother and wants to meet. In reality, she messages Rana, because Chen and Rana had agreed that Rana would pose as Xian and set a time and place for the meeting. When Chen's mother arrives and finds Rana, she is shocked and, thinking her daughter is romantically involved with a woman, leaves upset for her village. When Chen comes out of the bathroom, she pretends to be surprised that her mother is going to meet Xian at their home. Her mother asks Chen to book the 2 p.m. train so she and her husband can return to their village after the visit. After Chen buys the tickets and returns home with her parents, she opens her phone and is stunned to see that her mother actually contacted Xian on his real number, not through Rana as planned. Suddenly, Xian arrives, greets her parents, and sits with them. They say they need to know everything about him to feel their daughter is safe. They ask about his wife, and Xian surprises them by revealing he was never married. Xiaobao is actually his nephew, but he has never told anyone. People think the boy is his son, but after the child's mother died, Xian decided to raise him as his own. Everyone is moved by the story. They all have dinner together, and Xian is happy to share a family meal, something he hasn't done in ages. After dinner, he asks Chen's parents if he can stay the night. He reassures them he sent his driver to look after Xiaobao. They agree but are startled when he says he wants to sleep in Chen's room. Chen goes in to prepare it, and as she tries to leave, Xian takes her hand and asks her to sleep beside him. He confides that he envies her for having a warm family. He hasn't felt that warmth in a long time and keeps blaming himself for being a bad father to Xiaobao. Chen tells him not to say that. He's a kind, ideal father. Suddenly, Jian gets a call. Xiaobao has caught a cold and been taken to the hospital. Chen and Jian rush there and find the boy resting, stable, but he needs to stay several days. Xian learns from his assistants that Xiaobao refuses to take his medicine. Xian tries to give it to him, but the boy refuses again. Chen takes the bottle and gently plays with him until he agrees to take it. Hours later, Chen is still by Xiaobao's side when Xian returns after finishing a meeting. She scolds him for leaving his son alone. He explains he had an important meeting he couldn't miss. She asks who stays with Xiaobao when he's at work. Jian admits the boy is usually alone at home, then promises to rearrange his schedule. He acknowledges that Chen is the only person who has managed to truly connect with Xiaobao. He's afraid of everyone else. Jian offers to drive her home because it's late, but Xiaobao clings to her hand, not wanting her to leave. Chen reassures him she won't go and will stay the night. Suddenly, Xiaobao speaks for the very first time and calls her Mama. Chen and Xian can hardly believe it, overwhelmed with joy. The next morning, Chen wakes up remembering how he called her Mama, and a heavy feeling settles in. She realizes she may have taken on a responsibility bigger than she ever imagined. Chen carefully tries to slip away, but she suddenly finds Jian standing right in front of her, asking where she's going. She tells him she's going back home. He reminds her that she promised Xiaobao she would never leave him, that she asked him to think of her as his mother, so by that promise she should come live with them. Chen insists she was only saying that in the heat of the moment, but Xian pushes back. He tells her Xiaobao spoke for the first time in 5 years yesterday, and if she abandons him now, he could relapse. If she truly wants to run away from this responsibility, she should at least be brave enough to tell Xiaobao herself. Chen is shaken by his words and rushes off. She later meets Rana, confessing she feels trapped because of Xiaobao. She doesn't want the burden of responsibility, yet she can't bring herself to break his heart by telling him she isn't his real mother. She admits she also feels sorry for Jian. He doesn't know how to handle loneliness. Rana teases her, saying her sympathy for Jian is proof she has feelings for him. Chen denies it, insisting that even if he were the last man alive, she wouldn't love him. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Xian is with his son when Chen arrives. The moment Xiaobao sees her, he runs toward her, calling her Mama. She desperately tries to quiet him, but fails. She asks Xian why they've returned to the hospital, since Xiaobao is scared of it. Xian explains that his son needs a full medical checkup, and besides, he missed her. He even prepared her breakfast himself. Chen snaps back, saying her reputation is already ruined in the hospital because of the rumors about them, and Xiaobao calling her Mama in public will only make it worse. But Xian tells her it's no longer just a rumor. She really has become Xiaobao's mother. Looking at the boy's hopeful eyes, Chen can't bring herself to deny it. Instead, she tells him she'll finish her shift and then join them for breakfast. Later, she's startled when her boss assigns her to conduct Xiaobao's checkup personally. She realizes Jian orchestrated this and demands to know why. He calmly replies that he trusts only her. He then shocks her further by leaving Xiaobao in her care for the entire day while he goes to work. Chen takes Xiaobao aside and makes him promise not to call her Mama in the hospital since it's her workplace. He agrees. Later, when Xiaobao wakes up from a nap and doesn't see her nearby, he panics, clutching his board and searching for her everywhere. He bumps into another boy his age who tries to snatch the board. Xiaobao accidentally falls, and the other boy's mother scolds him harshly, accusing his mother of failing to raise him properly. At that moment, Chen arrives. Furious, she declares to the woman that she is Xiaobao's mother and defends him fiercely. She carries Xiaobao back to his room, where he writes on his board that he was scared when she left. Chen apologizes, promising she won't leave again. When he asks if she'll always be by his side, she assures him she'll be there whenever he needs her. Meanwhile, Rana, who works in the hospital's administration, overhears doctors gossiping cruelly about her friend. She lashes out at them, humiliating them in return. Later, Xian arrives and finds Chen asleep beside his son. He tenderly tries to cover her with a blanket, but she suddenly wakes, and both grow flustered. Chen quickly excuses herself and leaves. Soon after, she learns Rana has been fired for her outburst against the doctors. Chen apologizes, blaming herself, but Rana insists she's not upset. She's sure she'll find a better job. The next day, the two friends sit together in a cafe. Suddenly, Rana gets a message from a major company inviting her for an interview. She attends, and during the meeting asks how they got her number. The boss admits it was Xian who recommended her. That night, Rana tells Chen what happened, saying Chen is lucky to have Xian in her life. He makes things easier for her, whether she admits it or not. The next day, Chen goes to thank Xian for helping her friend. But instead of basking in gratitude, he's panicking. Xiao Bao has gone missing. They search everywhere but can't find him. Chen guesses he might have gone to her apartment. Sure enough, when they arrive, they find him sitting outside her door. Jian scolds him harshly, but Chen hugs the boy and gently explains that his father isn't shouting out of anger, only out of worry. She asks Jian to stop yelling, as it only frightens his son. They all go inside, and Chen prepares lunch. Jian mocks her, saying she probably can't cook anything decent. Chen challenges him. They'll both make the same dish, and Xiao Bao will judge. When Xiao Bao tastes both, he prefers Chen's. Jian is annoyed, insisting he measured everything perfectly. Chen tells him the difference is that she cooked with sincere love, and she also avoided spices children dislike, something he ignored. He focused only on technical precision, not feeling. That night, Chen walks them to the car, but offers to come over to Xian's house to make sure Xiao Bao is okay. Xian agrees, and she joins them. In the car, she nervously asks how he knew she lost the marriage seal. He says he figured it out when she asked about its price. He then pulls out 2 contracts and hands her one. Reading it, Chen is stunned. The contract gives her 2 options: either pay back the cost of the lost seal, 3 million, or move into his house, pretending to be his wife until Xiao Bao's condition improves. Cornered, Chen signs the contract and agrees to live with him. She asks how long it will last. He answers that it ends only if one of them dies, or if one of them finds their true partner in life. Back at her apartment, Chen explains everything to Rana, apologizing that she'll have to end their lease, and Rana will need to find another place, since Chen now has to live with Xian. She reminisces about their memories together, thanking Rana for always standing by her side. The following day, Bingo arrives late to his father's company, infuriating him for missing a meeting. As tensions rise, Rana walks in. To everyone's surprise, the company president announces that she will be his new secretary. The moment Bingo sees her, he's completely stunned. At the same time, back at the hospital, Chen tells her boss she's taking a 1-year leave of absence so she can focus on Xiao Bao and stay by his side. Her boss, who knows how dedicated she is, supports her decision. Later, Chen returns home exhausted. Ning arrives and notices the apartment is a mess. He asks what happened, and she explains that she's moving into Xian's house to live with him for a year. She tells him about the contract between them. Ning scolds her for not asking for his help before making such a drastic decision. Chen replies that the ring's value is impossibly high, there's no way he could have paid it off for her, and she asks him not to worry, insisting she can take care of herself. Later, Chen and Rana sit together to share their last drink in the apartment. Suddenly, Xian's personal assistant shows up and surprises them with news. Xian bought the apartment so Rana can keep living there without worrying about finding a new place. Chen confronts Xian, asking why he did this. He explains that he believes there's a 70% chance the lost ring is still in that apartment, and he can't bear the thought of a stranger moving in and stealing it, because the ring belonged to his grandmother. That same day, Chen arrives at Xian's house and is awestruck by its size and beauty. Xian tells her he set up a separate bed in his room because if they don't sleep in the same room, Xiao Bao might think they're deceiving him. Soon, Chen begins acting as though they're married in front of Xiao Bao. Xian points out she's stiff and awkward, not affectionate. She apologizes, saying she's just nervous. That night, she asks him to carry her in front of Xiao Bao. He lifts her clumsily at first, nearly hurting her, then corrects himself and holds her tenderly. Both of them grow flustered, and he quickly sets her down. The next morning, Jian scolds Chen about how she used his bathroom, explaining he likes everything in its exact place and hates when people touch his things. She apologizes and reorganizes everything. Later, she cooks noodles for herself. Xiao Bao smells the food and is shocked. Such food has never been in the house before. She tells him it's just noodles and invites him to join her. He loves the idea, and the two secretly eat together in the kitchen. Noodles, sweets, and chips are banned by Jian, who believes they're unhealthy. Later, Jian asks Chen to take Xiao Bao on a museum trip. Xiao Bao, bored of museums, doesn't want to go. Chen sneaks him to the park instead to give him a new experience. Rain catches them by surprise, and Chen runs with Xiao Bao, only to find Jian suddenly appearing with an umbrella. Back home, Xian angrily scolds both of them for disobeying him. He's even more furious when he discovers they ate noodles. He orders them to hand over all the sweets and chips and lock themselves in a room to reflect on their mistakes. Chen and Xiaobao sulk, feeling the punishment is unfair. Chen tells Xiaobao they should punish his father instead. Xiaobao loves the idea. He sneaks up on Xian while he's sleeping and draws on his face. Shocked, Chen hadn't agreed to such a prank, but Xiaobao hands her the marker, urging her to join. Just as she's about to, Xian wakes. Terrified, Chen bolts. The next day, Chen takes Xiaobao to her university, telling him there's an activity for mothers and children where he'll meet kids his age. She assures him she won't pressure him. If he feels uncomfortable, he can leave anytime. By coincidence, she runs into Ning there. She greets him and he says he's handling some paperwork. Chen confides in him about Xiaobao's condition, explaining he suffers from PTSD, fears physical contact, and avoids strangers. She feels sorry for him because he doesn't go to school. Ning recommends a special school called Shurot, designed for children with similar conditions and special needs, with staff trained in child psychology. When Chen returns home, she tells Xian about the school. She explains all the teachers are trained in child psychology and could handle Xiaobao's case. She encourages Xiaobao to show his father a picture of the school, but instead he shows him a photo of Chen sitting with Ning. Enraged, Xian accuses her of being seen in public with another man when everyone believes she's married. He refuses to trust the school. Chen argues that isolating Xiaobao will only harm him. He needs to interact with others to heal. Xian disagrees, saying socializing now will only hurt him. Chen retorts that she's the doctor, she understands her patient. She encounters that he's the father, so the final decisions are his. Frustrated, Chen declares she can't keep working with him and asks to cancel their contract. He tells her to calm down in her room until he decides what to do. Instead, she packs her bags, saying she'll return to her old apartment to cool off. Xian grudgingly tells her to consider it a one-week leave, but insists she must come back. Irritated by his arrogance, Chen leaves. Back in her old room, she receives a video call from Xiaobao, who is heartbroken by her absence. She reassures him, promising to stay on the call until he falls asleep. Meanwhile, at the company, Bingo invites Rana to dinner to get to know her better. She refuses, saying she doesn't dine with just anyone. At the same time, Xiaobao runs away from home to Chen's apartment. Shocked, she lets him in and messages Xian, telling him his son is with her. When Xian arrives, he brings the contract and warns that if she cancels it, she must pay the cost of the ring. Chen tells him to fire her and hire another doctor. She no longer wants to work with him, but he refuses. He orders his son to come home, but Xiaobao clings to Chen, refusing to leave. Chen asks Xian to let him stay, and reluctantly, he agrees. The next day, Chen returns to the hospital. She runs a therapy session for a boy named Huai, noticing that his mother constantly turns him against his father. Chen calls a meeting with the staff and explains the boy's mother is suffering from psychological trauma caused by her husband, and she needs treatment herself. Zi's fiancé overhears this and maliciously tells Huai's mother that Chen called her crazy and insisted she needs psychiatric help because she's ruining her son. Enraged, Huai's mother confronts Chen, screaming at her. Chen calmly explains she never called her crazy. She only meant the woman needed therapy to heal from her trauma after her husband abandoned her. The mother snaps, insisting she's not insane, and pushes Chen down the stairs. At that moment, Xian arrives, trying to catch her but failing. She falls and is rushed to the emergency room. There, Zi examines her and says her leg is injured and she'll need at least 2 weeks of bed rest. Xian is upset to see Zi treating her, demanding another doctor, but Chen insists Zi is one of the best orthopedic specialists in the hospital. Irritated, Xian storms off. After Zi bandages her, he warns she'll need crutches. Suddenly, Xian appears, saying crutches aren't necessary. He sweeps Chen up in his arms and carries her out of the hospital in front of everyone. The next day, when Chen returns, she finds Huai's mother holding a press conference, publicly defaming her. Ning quickly pulls Chen away and takes her home. On the news, they see Huai's mother accusing Chen of being a failed doctor, saying she treated her son for 6 months with no improvement. When Xian hears about this, he calls a meeting with Zi and his fiancé. He tells the fiancé he could sue her for causing the scandal against his wife and demands she resign, or he'll have her thrown out of the hospital. Zi defends her, insisting Xian has no right to fire her. Xian coldly warns them he'll deal with them in his own way. Afterward, he visits Chen at her home. As usual, he finds her housekeeping unacceptable and complains. Xian tells her the environment in her apartment isn't healthy for her condition and asks her to move back into his house. She refuses, so he warns that his son needs her, and if she gets hurt while living alone, he'll have to sue her. Cornered, Chen agrees to live at his place. The next morning, she wakes up in Xian's home and struggles to change clothes with one hand because of her cast. Hearing the commotion, Xian walks in and catches her mid-change. He quickly turns his face away and asks if she needs help. Chen shoves him toward the door and tells him to get out. Later, Xian, Chen, and Xiaobao go to the supermarket. Chen buys snacks for Xiaobao. Xian objects, but she reminds him kids like these things and promises it won't be every day. That night, Chen goes into Xian's study to grab something and accidentally notices several photos of a girl taken from behind. No face visible. Xiaobao then calls her to draw with him. Xian finds his son doodling on Chen's cast, so he joins in. The three of them end up enjoying themselves. That evening, Xian notices Chen dusting powder into her hair. When he asks, she says her hair's gotten oily because she can't wash it properly with the injury. He wheels her to the sink and washes her hair himself. Back in his study, he looks again at the girl from behind photos which drag him back to the accident he witnessed years ago. He saw a girl from behind that day, but never her face. The next day, Xian's lawyer visits Chen to say they've filed a lawsuit against Huai's mother for pushing Chen down the stairs and injuring her. Chen refuses to let it proceed. She goes to Xian's office and asks why he sued the woman. He says wrongdoing must be punished. She heads to the pool where he's swimming, films him in his swim trunks, and warns that if he doesn't drop the case, she'll post the video everywhere. Xian meets Huai's mother and tells her he's withdrawing the lawsuit because Chen asked him to and doesn't want the woman dragged through the mud. He returns home and tells Chen he let it go. By chance, Chen sees a photo of Xian with a girl and assumes it's his former lover. Later, she knocks on the bathroom door because he's taking too long. When she enters, he looks unwell and is barely dressed. Flustered, she spins her wheelchair around and averts her eyes. He pulls himself onto the chair and she checks his temperature, 38 degrees Celsius. She says it's not that high, nothing to panic over. Irritated, he snaps that normal body temperature shouldn't exceed 37 degrees Celsius. Maybe it's a sign of something serious, and he should go to the hospital. She assures him that's unnecessary, makes cold compresses, cooks soup, and feeds him until he settles. The following day, Bingo brings Xian more photos of girls shot from behind. Xian says none of them are the one he's looking for. Bingo is baffled. How can Xian's first love be a girl whose face he never even saw? That same morning, Rana barges into Bingo's room, wakes him up and announces she's his new assistant. She hustles him so he won't be late to the meeting. We learn the company president appointed her because his son actually listens to her, and because he wants Rana to keep Bingo away from the women he knows. That night, Rana goes to the nightclub Bingo frequents and finds him surrounded by girls. She shoos them away. Elsewhere, Chen records a voice message to Rana about the girl she saw in a photo with Xian, asking her to find out who the girl is, but she accidentally sends the message to Xian. He walks in on Chen pretending to be asleep and asks if she really wants to know who the girl is. Chen admits curiosity is killing her. He tells her she's a smart doctor. She can investigate and figure it out herself, and leaves. Xian then sits at his laptop staring at photos of Chen with Ning, seething with jealousy. The next day, Xian redecorates the apartment with things his son loves, takes down his own artwork, and hangs Xiaobao's drawings. When Chen and Xiaobao return, they're delighted with the new look. Xian has even bought a small dining table because he heard small tables bring families closer. That evening, Rana meets Bingo at a restaurant for something important. She notices someone photographing them and tells Bingo she knows his game. The pictures will go to his father to make it look like she's seducing the boss's son so she'll get fired. Bingo panics. His plan collapses. The following day, Chen and Xiaobao meet Ning at a field to play soccer. Xian shows up and insists on a match against Ning. If Ning wins, Xian will agree to enroll Xiaobao in Al-Sharok School, the special needs school Chen recommended. They play, Ning wins. Chen is overjoyed that Xiaobao will finally attend school. The next day, Chen prepares Xiaobao's things for class. Xian shows them an emergency bag he designed for his son. He presses a button, and it blares a piercing alarm. He tells Xiaobao to press it if he feels in danger. Chen pulls Xian aside and says, "This is overkill. His son is going to learn, not to war. Together, Chen and Xian take Xiaobao to his first day. He's scared to go in alone, so Chen gives him her handkerchief and says it will make him feel safe. Ning arrives to support them, and he and Chen watch from a distance. Xiaobao clutches the handkerchief and doesn't mingle with the other kids, which makes Chen anxious, but Ning reassures her he'll be fine. After school, they all head home, and Chen starts preparing dinner with Xian. Suddenly, Xian's aunt, Aunt He, walks in. Xian introduces Chen as his wife and says they've recently married. That night, they all sit down to dinner. Chen offers Aunt He some food. She refuses to take it, leaves the table, steps outside, and gets into a car with a strange man. She tells him Xian's marriage is fake and that Chen is only staying to treat Xiaobao. She's noticed, however, that Xian truly loves Chen and is very attached to her, but Aunt He intends to drive Chen away because Xian must marry a woman named Lin. The next day, Xian tells Chen that his company is hosting a grand anniversary celebration and he needs her to come with him. Chen refuses, saying she doesn't want to go. When he asks why, she explains that she'd have to wear high heels and a fancy dress, and people would gossip about her the whole night. She hates that kind of atmosphere. Xian smirks and says she probably doesn't want to go because she doesn't know how to dance. Annoyed, Chen insists that she does know how to dance, and to prove it, she starts moving in front of him, only to nearly trip. Xian bursts out laughing, mocking her clumsy moves. Determined to prove him wrong, Chen declares that she will go to the party and show him she can dance. The following day, Chen is shocked when Xian hires her an etiquette coach, a fitness trainer, and even a dance instructor to prepare her for the event. That evening, he comes home to find her utterly exhausted from the non-stop training. He makes her dinner, surprising her with a salad and milk. Chen protests, saying she needs to eat meat every day to feel full, but Xian insists she stick to a diet until the party so the dress will fit her properly. The next morning, Xian learns that the driver who had been at the wheel during his brother and sister-in-law's fatal accident 4 years ago has resurfaced after vanishing all this time. The driver was the reason they died, so Xian rushes out to meet him. Meanwhile, Chen wanders into his office, messages Rana, and arranges to meet her after work for lunch. Rana tells her to come to her company instead. While cleaning the office, a maid notices the driver's photo and casually mentions that Xian has been searching for this man for years. At the same time, Xian receives a call that the driver has escaped again. Chen arrives at the company and messages Rana, who tells her to wait by the elevator. By chance, Chen spots Xian walking through the building and tries to hide, but he sees her. He confronts her along with Bingo, scolding Chen for skipping her dance practice. Chen lies, saying she came to see Rana, who is an excellent dancer and was going to help train her. Just then, Rana walks in and loudly calls out that she's ready to go eat lunch. Bingo quickly drags her away. Xian is left stunned, realizing Chen broke her diet. Chen admits she missed normal food and promises to work harder if he lets her eat just one proper meal, but he refuses and storms off. Later, Bingo sits with Chen and tells her that Xian was upset that day because the driver escaped. Curious, Chen asks what happened. Bingo explains that 5 years ago, Xian's brother, his wife, and young Xiaobao were in the car with the driver to celebrate their son's birthday. Suddenly, the driver caused a terrible accident. Both parents died. Xiaobao was the sole survivor. Xian is convinced the accident was no coincidence. When Chen asks where Xian was, Bingo explains that upon hearing the news, Xian drove frantically to the hospital but crashed and fell into a coma for 6 weeks. When he awoke, he was still in shock but had to step up as CEO to save the company from collapse. That's why Xian often appears cold and ruthless, when in reality, he is kind, but life forced him to harden. Chen is deeply moved by this story. That night, she goes out to dinner with her friends but can't eat much, lost in thought about Xian's pain. When she returns home, she shows Xian her secret stash of snacks and promises she won't touch them until after the party. Xian surprises her by saying he won't force her to do anything against her will. The next day, Xian finds Chen practicing dancing alone, struggling with the steps. He takes her hands and teaches her the correct moves. Afterward, he asks what style she likes. Chen plays a song and begins dancing freely and playfully, her true self shining through. Xian watches her with a smile, enchanted. A few days later, Chen, Xian, and Xiaobao arrive at the party. Chen is stunning in her elegant dress, drawing everyone's attention. Xian proudly takes her to greet his aunt, and then they share a romantic dance. Xiaobao beams with joy, watching his parents, so in sync. When the dance ends, Xian kneels and removes Chen's painful heels, slipping comfortable sneakers on her feet. He whispers that he has a surprise, plays her favorite song, and the two dance together again, this time carefree, ignoring the rigid etiquette rules his aunt had imposed. In that moment, Lin arrives at the party. Aunt He rushes to greet her and calls Xian over to say hello. From this, Chen realizes Aunt He intends to marry Xian off to Lin. Jealousy flares in Chen's chest. Flustered, she tells Bingo she'll wait outside, but she stumbles and falls in front of everyone. After the party, Aunt He criticizes Jan, saying his wife embarrassed them by falling and calling Chen low class, lacking in etiquette. But Jan defends her, saying everyone falls sometimes, and it doesn't make them vulgar. His aunt presses him, reminding him that he's still chasing the mystery behind the accident 5 years ago, and urges him to stop digging into the past. Later, at home, Chen seethes with jealousy over Lin. Suddenly, Xian enters and gently applies ice to her injured foot before leaving again. Not long after, Chen calls him and bluntly asks if he thinks Lin is beautiful. He admits Lin is indeed pretty and smart, and that they've known each other since childhood because of family ties. Then he says goodnight. The next day, one of Chen's friends tells her that all the news outlets are buzzing about last night's party. People are saying Lin is far more beautiful and better suited to be Xian's wife, while accusing Chen of being his mistress. Chen shrugs it off, telling her friend she'll pick up Xiaobao from school before he sees the gossip. That evening, Rana stays late at the office. Suddenly, she hears eerie noises and realizes Bingo is trying to scare her. She heads to the bathroom, where a man in a ghost costume tries to frighten her. Moments later, Bingo hears screams and assumes his prank worked, but instead finds Rana chasing the costumed men down the hallway, terrifying them in return. The following day, Jian confronts his aunt, demanding why she spread rumors about him and his wife. She replies that Chen isn't right for him and that he deserves someone of his own social standing. Jian firmly declares that he loves his wife and will marry no one else. When he returns home, he apologizes to Chen and quietly transfers 100,000 into her account as compensation for the emotional distress she endured. The next day, Jian, Chen, and Xiaobao step out together in public, smiling as a happy family, making sure the media and the crowd see their unity. They want the world to know that gossip and rumors can't break them. Soon after, Xian learns that a new marketing expert will be joining the company. When he goes to greet her, he is stunned. It's Lin. She cheerfully explains she is the new marketing strategist, here to promote his company's smart bracelet, the very same bracelet Chen wears. She presents him with new ideas for improvements, suggesting ways to increase sales even further. Xian is impressed with Lin's way of thinking and begins working closely with her. Later, Rana arrives at the company and spots Xian and Lin sitting together. Curious, she asks the secretary who the woman is. The secretary explains that Lin is the new marketing expert responsible for promoting the company's products in European and American markets. Rana grows uneasy and quickly meets Chen, telling her that Lin has started working with Xian and warns her to be careful because Lin will surely try to steal him away. Chen returns home upset. She places Jian's photo on a pillow and starts cursing at it, hitting it in frustration. It's clear now, she's in love with him, and jealousy is eating her up. Later, she asks Xiaobao where he wants to go for the weekend. Xiaobao writes that he wants to visit his father's company, so the next day Chen takes him there. Xian is surprised to see them and asks what they're doing. Chen explains that his son missed him and wanted to visit. She adds that she brought him his favorite tuna sandwiches. Just then, Lin enters with lunch for Jian. She quickly tells him not to eat the tuna sandwiches because the client he's about to meet hates the smell. Embarrassed, Chen takes Xiaobao and sits with him outside. Before heading to the bathroom, Chen tells Xiaobao to stay put, but Xiaobao suspects Lin is trying to seduce his father, so he sneaks back into the office. He drops a toy insect into Lin's drink. When Lin notices it, she screams in terror and spills the drink all over herself. Jian immediately scolds his son harshly for misbehaving. Chen rushes back in and begs Xian to go easy on him, reminding him that Xiaobao is just a child. But Xian accuses her of spoiling the boy, ruining his behavior, and insists she knows nothing about raising children. Furious, Chen snaps back, telling him that his son missed him, came to see him, and he broke his heart instead. She storms out with Xiaobao, taking him to her parents' house. Her mother immediately senses her anger, saying she's just waiting for her husband to come and make peace. She assures Chen that he'll apologize before the day ends. Meanwhile, Ning and Lin meet by chance on the street. It's revealed that they had met before, when Ning used to get her psychiatric medication. Lin begs him to keep this secret, not wanting people to know about her mental health struggles. Back at home, Xian learns that Chen has taken Xiaobao to her parents' house. Instead of going after her, he sends their luggage there. Chen is furious. She thought he would come to reconcile, not push her further away. Suddenly, her father collapses. They rush him to the hospital, where the doctor reveals he has endocarditis and arterial blockage. His condition is critical and he needs surgery immediately. But the operation is risky. Without it, he'll die. But even with it, the chances are slim. Chen's mother breaks down in tears. Soon after, Rana arrives to comfort them. Chen tells Xiaobao that Rana will take him back to his father until her dad recovers. When Xiaobao returns home, Xian is shocked and asks what happened. Xiaobao writes on his board that Rana said Chen's father is sick and needs surgery. Alarmed, Xian rushes with his son to the hospital. Chen bursts into tears when she sees him, and Xian wipes her face gently, assuring her everything will be fine. He makes some calls and tells her and her mother that he has arranged for the best medical team in China to oversee the surgery. Chen thanks him as they sit together outside her father's room. She asks why he's helping her so much. He looks into her eyes and simply says, "Because you are my wife." She brings up the rumor she heard, that he and Lin were once engaged. Xian explains that their families wanted it because of shared business interests, and both families were among the richest in China. But he never loved Lin, and he's against arranged marriages. Chen feels relieved and secretly happy at his words. Later, when her father wakes, he asks her to cook him a meal with her own hands before he goes into surgery. He hands her his credit card and reveals that all the money she sent him each month, he saved. He even saved his entire pension for her future security. Overcome with emotion, Chen begs him not to talk as if he won't survive. She believes he'll make it through. Hours later, as the surgery continues, Chen and her mother wait nervously outside the operating room. When Xian arrives with Xiaobao, he notices their fear and reassures them. Finally, the doctor emerges with good news. The operation was successful. Her father's condition is stable. Just then, Aunt He arrives at the hospital. Instead of showing sympathy, she criticizes Jian for neglecting his company to be here. But Jian firmly tells her that supporting his father-in-law is more important. Inside the room, Chen's whole family gathers, and they're touched to see Xiaobao calling Chen's parents Grandpa and Grandma. Everyone is overjoyed at his progress, but when Xian asks him to call him Dad, Xiaobao refuses. Xian can't hide his disappointment. Later that night, Lin calls Xian, telling him that an important client named Jia wants to meet him at a hotel. She sends him the address. Xian excuses himself and leaves. Chen suspects he's going to see Lin. Determined, she rushes to Rana's place, asking her to do her makeup and lend her the most beautiful dress she owns so she can follow them to the hotel. Rana agrees. At the hotel, Chen takes the elevator where a strange man stands with her. He fiddles with his phone, trying to connect to the network, but Chen thinks he's a pervert trying to take her photo. Furious, she grabs him by his collar and threatens to drag him to the police. When the doors open, she's stunned. Jian and Lin are standing there. Their jaws drop when they see her holding none other than their important client, Jia, by the collar in such a humiliating way. Xian tells her to let the man go immediately. He's the client he's here to meet. Chen freezes, mortified. After the meeting, Lin corners Chen and says that Jia refused to sign with Xian's company because of her. She adds that Xian had been preparing for this meeting for over a month and a half. Chen apologizes, insisting she didn't mean to cause trouble. Lin snaps that Chen is the reason every bad thing happens to Xian and says she knows the marriage is fake, just a contract between them. Chen asks how she found out, but Lin won't answer. She orders Chen to stay away from Jian because she's beneath his social level and always drags him into problems. Heartbroken, Chen leaves the company and finds Jian waiting for her. She keeps apologizing. He tells her he isn't angry and offers to drive her home. At that moment, Ning pulls up and asks Chen to ride with him, so she gets into his car. On the way, Chen admits her nerves are shot and she needs a drink. Ning takes her to a cafe bar and the two sit together. She confesses she loves Jian, but she's not pretty enough, not from his world, and she's brought him nothing but trouble since the day she entered his life. Ning tells her to stop. She doesn't understand her own worth. By chance, Bingo passes by, sees them together, and immediately calls Xian. Within minutes, Xian arrives at the cafe and bristles at the sight of Chen with Ning. Bingo ushers Ning outside. Xian then asks Chen to move back in with him. She lights up, about to say yes, until Lin calls his phone. Chen's face falls. She changes her mind on the spot and says she wants to end their contract. Stunned, Xian reminds her the term isn't over. Chen argues that Xiaobao can go to school on his own now, his language has improved, and she's no longer needed in his home. She adds that she's caused him too many problems and walks away. The next day, Xian goes to see her at work and asks why she's ending the deal. Chen says she wants to focus on her career and future. Xian points out she hasn't fulfilled the contract. Xiaobao must learn to interact socially. Chen says she'll prove it. She sits Xiaobao with a girl his age and asks him to hug her. He does, and even takes her hand to go play. Xian is astonished. Chen tells him she'll stop by later to collect her clothes. He tries repeatedly to talk her out of ending things, but fails. She returns the once-lost ring and tells him there's a school performance in a few days. She'll see Xiaobao one last time before then to coach him for his act. That night, Lin sits with her aide and asks if he knows anything unusual about Chen. He says that in college, Chen first intended to specialize in surgery, but switched to child psychology after she was injured rescuing a boy Xiaobao's age in an accident. Since then, she's been devoted to children. The following day, Xian meets Jia and is surprised when the man says he's changed his mind and wants to sign. Jia explains that Chen met him and convinced him. That evening, Chen is at Xian's place coaching Xiaobao for the performance. Ning arrives and Chen tells Xiaobao that Ning will stay with him throughout the event so he won't be afraid. By accident, Xiaobao drops the voice recorder. It captures Chen confessing to Ning that she loves Xian and will be devastated to leave him. Later, Chen realizes her phone is missing and returns to Xian's to retrieve it. She finds Xian listening to the recording of her saying she loves him. She lunges for the device, but he stops her. Humiliated, she flees, while Xian, secretly overjoyed, can't stop smiling. She loves him. During event prep the next day, Xian shows up and asks Chen point blank if she loves him. Flustered, she claims it was a joke, but he knows better. That night, Xian, Chen, and Xiaobao relax in the hotel room. Chen sings a lullaby to help the boys sleep. Elsewhere, Aunt He, listening on a call, hears Chen's voice and realizes she was the one who rescued Xiaobao on the night of the accident. She sang that same lullaby then, which is why Xiaobao bonded with her the moment he met her. We learn that Chen had been on the phone with Xian during the crash, and the call stayed connected after the car flipped, letting her hear herself singing to calm the child. The strangest part? It wasn't the driver behind the wheel that night. Xian was driving, which contradicts what everyone believed. On the day of the performance, Xian and Chen spend a happy afternoon with Xiaobao. That evening, Lin corners Xian to talk marriage. She argues that marrying her would help his company and boost sales. He tells her to drop it. He will never marry her. She coldly says she knows he married Chen only so she could look after his son, and flaunts her experience with children, promising she can integrate with Xiaobao better. She coaxes Xiaobao to go fishing with her. He follows. Lin pretends to fall into the water and accuses Xiaobao of pushing her. Xian hauls Lin out and, furious, tells her to stay out of his life. He won't work with her again. When he returns to the room and finds Chen gone, his son says she went fishing. Xian races into the woods, finds her unconscious beside a snake, and rushes her to the hospital. The doctor says she fainted from fright. The snake didn't bite her. When Chen wakes, she says there are only 6 hours left until their contract expires. Xian promises he'll honor her wish and end it. Back home, she's startled when Xian appears with a new document. She says she won't sign anything else. He asks her to at least read the terms first. She refuses, so he reads them aloud. Party A, Xian, loves Party B, Chen, and wants to enter into a formal relationship. This contract shall last forever. Chen can hardly breathe from happiness. They lean in, finally closing the distance. Just then, Ning calls from outside, asking her to come down. He's brought 2 concert tickets to confess his feelings. Xian doesn't give him the chance. Ning is stunned when he realizes Xian and Chen are officially together. He'd planned to tell her he loved her that very night. Chen moves back into Xian's home. They spend the night watching movies, blissfully content. The next day at the office, Lin strides in and says she wants to marry him for the good of the company. Xian answers without hesitation. He loves Chen and he will never love anyone else. Lin confronts Chen and tells her she knows the marriage with Xian is fake, but Xian shocks her by announcing that he and Chen are now officially together. The next day, Xian decides to take Chen on a romantic date. He brings her fishing. Chen doesn't know how to fish, fumbles, and accidentally falls against him. For a moment, the two are pressed close, their eyes locking. Meanwhile, Lin's mother asks her daughter when she plans to marry Xian. Lin confesses she won't. He loves another woman and has even kicked her out of the company. Furious, her mother reminds her that her father is old, unable to work, and the whole family depends on her marriage to Xian to avoid bankruptcy. That night, Lin meets Chen at a restaurant. She tells her that Xiaobao's condition has improved greatly, that he speaks normally now, and there's no reason for her to keep living with them. But Chen tells her that she and Xian are officially in a relationship and deeply in love. Lin warns her that the difference in their social status will cause endless problems, and it's better to separate now. Just then, Xian arrives, tells his aunt that he loves Chen, and no one will ever separate them. He asks her to stop interfering in his life, then takes Chen away. Later, Lin visits Ning, asking for her anxiety medication. Ning advises her to see a psychiatrist since her anxiety disorder is getting worse. She snaps at him not to meddle and says she'll be back tomorrow for her medicine. The next day, when she arrives, Ning makes her fill out a form to assess her condition. Reading it, he's shocked. Her mental state has severely deteriorated. He insists she see a doctor immediately. She refuses, demands the medicine. Ning agrees to give her one last refill, but after that, he won't help unless she seeks treatment. Meanwhile, Chen tells Xian she wants his aunt to like her. She asks what the woman enjoys. Xian says golf, so Chen buys stacks of golf books, studies them, and even has Xian teach her how to play, determined to impress. One day, Chen sees Aunt He arguing in the street with a man and, thinking he's harassing her, rushes to defend her. Afterward, Aunt He tells her the man was actually the driver from the accident years ago. For 5 years, he's been blackmailing her, demanding money to keep the truth hidden. When Chen asks what truth, Aunt He admits the unthinkable. Jian himself was driving the car the night of the crash, the one that killed his brother and sister-in-law. He lost his memory afterward, so she hid it from him, blaming the driver instead. Otherwise, he would have hated himself and never recovered. She also reveals that the child Chen saved that night was Xiaobao. That's why he's been attached to her ever since. Aunt He warns her, Chen is kind, but being with Xian is wrong. If his memories return, the pain will destroy him. Chen is devastated, torn between leaving Xian and protecting him. That night, Xian admits that he once saw a girl from behind 5 years ago and searched endlessly for her. But now, he says, he doesn't care anymore. He only loves Chen. She realizes he means her, but keeps the truth to herself. The next day, Chen joins Xian and Xiaobao at the golf club to play with Aunt He. The aunt says she knows Chen loves both Xian and Xiaobao, so separation will be hard, but insists it's for the best. Chen, trembling, agrees. She bluntly tells Xian she wants to end things. At first, he laughs, thinking she's joking, but when she insists, he's shattered. She walks away, leaving him behind. That night, Chen returns to her old apartment and tells Rana she broke up with her love. Rana is shocked, demands to know why, but Chen refuses to explain. The following day, Xian shows up at Chen's home with Xiaobao, saying he'll never leave her, that he loves her too much to accept a breakup. He even claims he didn't hear a word she said, because he won't allow her to walk away. Chen is deeply moved, but hides her feelings, treating him coldly to push him away. At work, Xian discovers Lin has forced many employees to resign, putting his company in jeopardy. Meanwhile, Chen visits her old hospital director. He praises her as one of the best doctors they had and offers her leadership of a new project in Germany. That night, she runs into Ning, who walks her home, only to find Xian and Xiaobao waiting at her place. Xian bristles with jealousy, but hides it, saying his son bought her a cake and had been waiting all day to surprise her before falling asleep. He leaves quietly. Later, Chen checks into a hotel to focus on the Germany project, only for Xian and Xiaobao to show up. Xian declares they'll dine with her every day until she changes her mind about leaving. The next morning, Bingo shocks his co-workers by showing up early, focused and responsible, a sudden change in his character. Meanwhile, Chen learns from her director that the Germany project requires her to relocate for an entire year. Signing the contract would mean leaving Xian forever. She visits Rana and finds her miserable. Rana admits she fought badly with Bingo. Chen realizes Rana likes him, which is why she's so upset. She calls Bingo, urging him to check on her. Minutes later, he shows up with lunch, ready to confess his feelings. But Rana panics and throws him out. That night, Chen calls Xian, telling him she's leaving for Germany and begs him to forget her. He pleads that he can help her career without her leaving, but she refuses and hangs up. At the same time, Lin suffers a panic attack and calls Bingo. He rushes to her side, brings her home, makes dinner, and suggests she stay overnight until she stabilizes. He promises to watch over her so she feels safe. Meanwhile, Xian discovers that his aunt had been secretly meeting the driver for years. He confronts her, demanding answers. She can't give him the real reason. Suddenly, the driver himself appears outside Xian's house, asking to see Aunt He. Xian storms out and fights him. In the struggle, the driver confesses he was the one driving that night. He caused the crash that killed Xian's brother and sister-in-law. At that instant, Xian's memory returns in a rush. He remembers everything. Later, Aunt He finally admits the truth to him and tells him that the girl who saved Xiaobao that night was Chen. She's the same girl he has been searching for all these years. Xian is left devastated, unable to believe he was the cause of his brother and sister-in-law's death. The next day, Chen gathers with Rana, Ning, and Xian to bid them farewell before leaving for Germany. To her shock, Xian tells her he accepts their separation. Chen is crushed but hides her feelings. On the eve of her departure, Chen realizes Jian has vanished. She calls his aunt, who admits she doesn't know his whereabouts, but reveals he now knows the full truth about the accident. Chen searches everywhere until she finally finds him at the company. She rushes into his arms, insisting it wasn't his fault, promising never to abandon him, and declaring she won't go to Germany so she can stay by his side. But Xian pushes her away, saying they're not meant to be together. The next day, Chen shocks him by returning to his house to take care of him, though he resents her presence. She later meets Bingo, explaining she's certain the accident was orchestrated. Xian was too skilled a driver to make such a mistake. Her own digging revealed the driver paid off all his debts right after the crash, and police records showed the car's brakes had been tampered with. She asks Bingo to help her uncover the truth, hoping it will ease Xian's torment. That night, Chen confides in her friends that she doesn't know how to help him through the trauma. Later, Ning visits Xian and confesses he plans to declare his love to Chen and convince her to go to Germany with him. Furious, Xian warns him it will never happen. The next day, Ning takes Chen out, ready to confess, but before he can, Xian arrives and pulls her away. Heartbroken, Ning later meets Lin. Seeing his sadness, she watches silently as he plays his guitar, her eyes revealing she has grown fond of him. Meanwhile, Xian and Chen learn from Xiaobao's soccer coach that he doesn't want to play. When they ask why, he shows them a photo of his biological father. Xian realizes his son longs to play with the father he lost. Gently, he reassures Xiaobao that he will train him himself and make him the best player in the world. For the first time ever, Xiaobao calls him Dad. Overwhelmed with joy, Xian hugs his son, and they play soccer together until dark. That night, Xian embraces Chen, thanking her for everything. He tells her his life was meaningless before her, and his greatest wish is to see her and Xiaobao happy. Soon after, Bingo confesses his love to Rana, and they officially become a couple. The next day, when Chen goes to pick Xiaobao up from school, she is suddenly kidnapped. Luckily, Xiaobao manages to jot down the car's license plate and calls his father. Xian races off to save her but crashes his car and wakes up in the hospital, Chen at his side. She explains the kidnappers were agents of rival companies, the same group behind the brake sabotage 5 years ago. They had silenced Xian's brother when he discovered their illegal dealings, but she reassures him. The police have arrested the culprits, and he bears no guilt for his family's deaths. Relieved, Xian holds her tightly. Meanwhile, Lin confesses to her mother that her true dream is to become a designer with her own brand. Her mother dismisses it, insisting she manage the family business instead. Later, Chen plays basketball with Xian and Xiaobao. When the ball accidentally hits Xian's head, he faints and dreams of his late brother, who tells him he misses playing with him. His brother thanks him for raising Xiaobao so well and blesses him with happiness, alongside the woman he loves. Xian wakes with peace in his heart. At the same time, Lin moves into Ning's home. He is the only one supporting her dream, encouraging her as they spend nights together discussing her designs. Over dinner, Ning tells her her mental health has improved since she began pursuing what she loves. She thanks him, then gently urges him to move past his love for Chen and focus on his own dreams. Not long after, Lin shocks Ning with news. She's signed a contract in France and will leave the next day. Both are heartbroken. They've fallen in love. Meanwhile, Xian encourages Chen to accept her opportunity in Germany. She refuses, unwilling to leave him. But Xian reveals he's already arranged everything with her director. He can't let her abandon her dreams for him. Though the thought of being apart hurts, he promises they'll stay connected. Chen agrees to go, on one condition: when she returns, they'll have a grand wedding. Xian laughs and accepts. Time passes. In Germany, Chen and Xian talk every day by video call. After a year, Xian and Xiaobao head to the airport to welcome her back. On the way, she calls to say she'll need another month abroad. Crushed, they return home, only to find Chen waiting there to surprise them. Xiaobao runs into her arms, and Xian embraces her lovingly. Soon after, Xian keeps his promise. He and Chen celebrate a stunning wedding surrounded by family and friends. Xiaobao gives a heartfelt speech, now speaking clearly and confidently. As Chen tosses her bouquet, Ning catches it, just as Lin appears. Their eyes meet, and it's clear they've both changed and fallen for each other. Chen calls them over to join her and Xian for photos. The crowd erupts in applause, cheering Ning and Lin to embrace their love. The series ends in joy, with two couples beginning their new lives. Xian and Chen finally united, Ning and Lin discovering each other, and Xiaobao smiling in the family he always longed for.